Hello.
Nope.
My name is Chuck, and I was told I have 5 minutes. And it's got me on a clock, and so not 7, not 6. You're wasting my time. All right. So I've been involved in Madhouse since I was a middle schooler, and so it goes way back. My brother was actually involved with Madhouse. His name's Michael. And he's one of the biggest role models to me, and deeply care for my brother. And so I was given an opportunity to go. We grew up in a broken home, single mother at home, and she was attracted to the bad boys, right? And so because I've seen that in my life, I knew that that's not what I wanted to be, and so I'm not a bad boy. My wife doesn't have to deal with what my mom had to deal with. And so if I hadn't been to Madhouse, my life would look a whole lot different. I went to Madhouse. That was the only youth group I was a part of. I wasn't a part of a congregation. And so church was not a thing in my life outside of Madhouse. And so I graduate high school, and I decided to leave for the military and to get away from the life that I was living. I was living on my own at the time. I was getting Social Security because my dad had taken his own life when I was 10. And so I was able to afford living on my own as a minor. And so that was really, really tough. And my time in the military, I kind of forgot about God. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. Right? You got this little foundation that you're building. You accept Jesus into your life. But then there might come a time when you walk away. And you start doing things your own way, and that's exactly what I did. I developed some similar habits to my father. I took up drinking alcohol, which led to my dad getting his fourth DUI, and he took his life in prison. And so I took up drinking habits like my father. I took up abusing people, emotionally abusing, and making it seemed like I took value in people that I didn't, and I was a slime ball. And then I remembered a little bit about Madhouse, and I had this chaplain in the military that spoke to me, and he started to share of Christ, and it brought me back to the days of Madhouse. And developing a relationship with him, I started to feel a different call on my life. I honestly felt like I was going to be in the military for 20 years, and something changed. I come home, I visit Muskegon, I go to Unity Music Festival, and I'm spending time with Dave and Carol and other leaders at Madhouse at Unity. And I'm hanging out with kids, and the smile and the joy that I had spending time with kids was unlike anything I had felt in the military. And I thought I had so much joy and love for the military, but when I went back, I was getting ready to sign a contract that would extend me to 10 years, and I started feeling really bad about that. And I talked to my chaplain, and he said, I think you're supposed to leave the military and go into ministry. And so I left, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I started finding jobs, odd jobs, and next thing you know, I hear there's an internship available at Madhouse. And fortunately, I was able to take this position, and it's honestly changed my life. I went from being someone that knew very little about the Bible to someone leading kids that know very little about the Bible. When I first started speaking of the Scriptures, I probably spoke everything out of context. I don't know if anybody ever does that, right? You look at a verse and you take it completely the wrong way. And now I'm educated and I understand the Scriptures, and I still am on staff at Madhouse, and so thankful for the volunteers that are here every week that invest so well in the kids. And I'm a youth pastor at church as well, and nearly finished with my bachelor's degree in ministry, and If it weren't for Madhouse, I know that I probably would have never gotten connected with that chaplain. I would have never returned to this faith that I was taught at Madhouse, and the lives that I've been able to shape in the last 6 years in ministry would not have been able to be. Maybe some of these people would have never came to the church, would have came to Madhouse, would have never accepted Jesus for the first time. Maybe never felt loved. I probably would have never came home and met my wife. My nearly 2-year-old son might not be born right now. And I just couldn't imagine if my life looked any different than the way it does right now. And so, super thankful for Madhouse. Thanks for being here tonight. Yeah, good dessert, right?